Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Running a ARCA race to start off week 2 of season 2 2022. It's technically my second ARCA race for the
Exit's
week.
clear.
The
Stay
first one
behind the
did
white
not
line.
go well at
Okay,
all.
Jake. We've got two
Had
laps.
kind of
Let's get
close to
this
the middle
done.
of the race just to unravel. Overdrove the car, had some issues being around traffic and some other people that were causing problems, so just was not a good race. Did not want to subject you guys to how bad that was after having the Xfinity race go the way it was, so try and take two, see if I can get a decent run in, even if it's slow. I'm quickly learning I flat out do not have the pace this week. I just, for whatever reason, I'm not driving the car very well. I either underdrive it into the corner and lose a ton of time, or I overdrive it and lose a ton of time. So kind of frustrating because I feel like short tracks are, where I'm home at. But you obviously see overdrove turn 1 and then just massively did not do turn 3 very well. So
P13.
not very
Lap
good,
time was
13th.
22.04.
Caught, I think, either a second or a third split. I believe I'm like car number 3 in it, so that's not going to bode well with the fact that I don't have pace. Really need to finish all the way up at the front to gain anything significant out of it and make up what I lost in the first race, but at least able to cut off about a quarter of a second off of the first one.
P8.
Good enough for
Currently
8th. That's going to put us on the
0.13.
outside,
The
which is
leader's
certainly
pace.
not going to be fun, but at least, I guess, towards the front, some sort of saving grace. About a tenth and a half off, 1.3 off, so I can deal with that. That's a little better than what I thought, but certainly going to
That's the
be
end of the
a
session.
big thing
P8.
to just try to avoid um, all of the wrecks as much as possible. It's most definitely a loose one for sure, I would say. Running 12 to 1 for the steering ratio, -6 for the offset, and brake bias back all the way at 60. Track temp is 109 right now. It'll climb through the rest of the race if it does like it did. That's certainly going to change things. It just gets slicker. Gonna try to do what I can. Let's see. Gotta watch out for the 16. We'll see what happens. If he's got severe weather happening and he's still racing, so good for him, I guess. Who's dropping back? The 7. Yeah, so starting on the outside is going to be fun. Just going to try to do what I can, 50 laps. I think half the field finished on the lead lap in the last one I ran. It was pretty weak strength of field, but that certainly says something for just being able to stay out there, survive. If you can do that, keep it clean, not get into any problems, then, if you can get by the people that do have problems, you certainly have a chance this week to pick up a lot of free spots, I'm sure. So I just want to do what I can, top half at a minimum, no worse really than 10th. We have 24, I believe, 23. So yeah, I'd really like to not be outside of the top 10 if I can avoid it. I obviously would love to try to come as close to third place as I can. I don't think that's going to happen. I think starting on the outside, I'm probably going to get freight trained off the initial start. Probably going to be spending half the race battling back. I'm going to try to do the best I can to tire save the first half or so and save the right front as best as possible. So that way I can at least have the potential to try to turn under people the second half of the race and make
8th
passes that
place.
way through the
50
center of the
laps.
corner off. Try to position myself to get side by side down the straightaways and get the run going into the next corners that way. And I'm going to need that right front to give me as much grip as possible to try to execute that. So
Stay behind Rock in the outside column.
going to warm up the tires some. I know I didn't really want the heat, but I think the brake temps being up towards the, like heated up off the start will be worth a little bit more than the tire heat. I think if I can do that and have the brakes actually be able to stop close to the start, and grip, that'll certainly help A, keep me off of people, but B, allow me to get the car slowed up and let it roll into the corners rather than coming in too hot and spinning around. I think you're going to see a lot of people with that problem potentially, especially with this being either a second or a third split. Kind of putting some stock in some people over driving the car, which I certainly did the last one, and hopefully that I learned from those lessons. So last one had the car in front of me lay back by like 6 car lengths off the restart. I'd get guys wanting to do that to avoid whatever mess happens through 1 and 2. I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen in this one, just because that's going to put me in an even worse spot trying to get to the inside as quickly as possible, because other people from behind are just going to come flying in, and that can also create the problem of, you know, any kind of dive bombing or anything like that. So I'm certainly going to drive pretty conservative off the start, just to make sure I can get around cleanly and not have any issues running into people, but just going to try to do the best I can. Leader is off. Kind of short shifting just to avoid from spinning the tires off the start. Off and rolling, still got the 23. 12's already losing it. He's up against the wall. 23 loses it on the inside. That gives me the chance to get to the inside, get some spots. No clue what happened. The 23, I think, just kind of lost it on his own. Did not happen to see, or excuse me, the 12, who's in the wall again, and 3 and 4 just lost it on his own. Going through 1 and 2, did not see what happened to 23. Just saw him come across the mirror and take out a couple other cars. So, yeah, that moves us up to 6. Gladly take that. See if I can get to the inside of the one going into turn 3. I think he's probably looking to do the same thing as me and take it pretty easy, but if I can get a position and hold it, I will certainly take it. I think track position here can be big. It can be tough to pass anywhere other than the inside, so there's a lot of value in just being able to protect the bottom and not make any mistakes. It can make it tougher for anybody to pass you cleanly. So I'm going to set our eyes on the 17, try to not overdrive it, keep it from making any mistakes, and just do what I can to find my way. 16's looking pretty aggressive. You can see he kind of tried to look low and dive it in a little bit, but I'm going to assume how many times he does that, he's going to end up having issues with the right front. Although, as I say that, I do the exact same thing overdrive 3 and 4, so really got to watch what I say. 0.7 up to the 17 up ahead. It was just under 0.4 to the 16 behind, so working my way up, at least in a top 5 position for now, although it is very early on as we're only getting ready to complete lap 5. So plenty of time left for problems to happen. Most likely, if they're going to be happening, it's going to be self-inflicted wounds, but got a side-by-side battle up for the lead up ahead. Again, I'm just taking it real easy. Pulling away slightly from the 16 behind. He is pulling away from the 1 as well. Tire saving's important, but I don't think you want to end up too far behind because it's just so hard to pass if somebody in front doesn't make a mistake that it can be really tough to make up that time. So tire saving's important, but you know, to a degree it's not quite the same as Charlotte was last week. So we caught up to the 17 pretty quickly. Didn't really feel like I drove that hard to get to him either, so hopefully it's just one of those that I have the pace, which given the strength of field, I should have the pace compared to him. I have to take it easy, try to figure out my way around him. Overdrove turn 1 there a little bit. We're going to start seeing the 16 close back up if I'm not able to get by the 17 as well. See, the lap times are kind of falling off in relation to the best time. Trying to do the best I can to just ease the car around the track right now. That would have been my chance to get to the inside of the 17. It just wasn't quite close enough to get there. Just have to keep an eye out and see if he keeps making mistakes like that. It'll certainly be my chance to try to get to the inside. 9's going to lose it off of turn 4. 17 checks up for him, clear the 9, no problem. You're going to take that advantage to get to the inside of the 17 going into turn 1.
22.43.
Just gotta hold the inside line, stay off of him, off of the corner, able to clear him. 16 does the same thing. 16 gets a little loose on the inside of him. It's gonna put us up to 3rd.
The driver in front of us is bored.
Quite a bit up to the 19 and the 8.
P3.
About 3 seconds ahead of the 19, so keep an eye and see what I can do. The goal now is just to really get into middle of the race and just kind of click off some laps. Just again, make sure I don't overdrive the car. I'm going to save the right in front as best I can, but also don't want to be sliding it too much off the corners and heating up the right rear because that'll just make it that much tougher to get the drive off.
122.
19 could just flat out have the pace and be good. Would expect if he's driving this hard, especially trying to work through traffic right now, that he may end up abusing that right front in maybe the last 20 laps or so. If I can navigate traffic as well, I can try to close back down on him because you can see got a couple tenths off to the 8 and the 19 is just gone, so 8 might be kind of doing the same thing, laying back, knowing something. I don't know, we'll just have to see. 19 just easily could be outperforming his iRating, which, you know, obviously I've done in races before. It can certainly happen. It doesn't always mean that somebody's making mistakes up front. They could just have improved quite a bit. I think we're really only catching the 8 because of the traffic that he's in, and once we get to that traffic, then he's going to be able to pull away from us. Just going to have to work our way through traffic as quickly and efficiently as we can. We've got a big gap back to the 16 behind. They're about 1 second behind. Keep an eye on that as well.
That lap time was 22.13.
This is it was a bit of a rougher start than what I remember in the last race, but I think we've got a bigger speed difference between the front of the pack and the back of the pack as well, so that could have changed you know, a bit of it. I think a lot of us were all bunched together and we're trying to get by. There's a couple cars that were pretty slow holding up the pack, and people were starting to get pretty aggressive trying to make passes. I think that might have contributed to some of it. Overdrove turn 1 and 2 there a little bit. Still pulling away from the 16, but kind of cut down how much I was gaining on the 8, although the 8 is currently dealing with getting by the 6. He clears him down the front stretch. Got an issue with the 11 up ahead. Got to watch him through 1 and 2. All kinds of loose off of turn 4. Pay attention, see if he heated up the right front too much and have an issue. Try to get by the 16. He stays high. Thank you to him. See if we can just try to get by the 16 and the 6 and the 11. Really careful with the 11. He seems to be a bit all over the place right now. 6 stays high. Thank you to him as well. Try to clear him this time through 3 and 4. You can see how much that allowed the 8 to pull away, so we were definitely catching him because of the traffic. Just trying to do what I can to get by the 6. Able to clear him that time into turn 1. Got the 11 up ahead, who's still kind of all over. We've also got the 4 as the next one. Be in line, so a lot of higher rated drivers struggling in this for sure, so hopefully I don't become victim to that. Be okay with the 3rd place, but obviously would like to see if I could get any closer, see if I could pull off a 2nd at all. 19 is just absolutely gone. You can see him there in the middle of 3 and 4. Again, he might just know what to do and had the ability to get through traffic faster. 11 has certainly picked up the pace quite a bit. 4's not bad. 8's pulled away. I don't know. I probably am too far off the pace, and this tire saving is not going to do me any good, but let's stick to it, and then through the last half of the race I'll be working the brake bias back as well. Not really jamming on the brakes, but having it back will help me shorten the distance up. 4 is a bit of an issue there through turn 3 and 4. Going to try to get to his inside. He stays high. Thank you to him.
They're outside.
Able to clear him off of turn 2. I guess 19's not really pulling away as much as I thought he was. I thought he was further ahead. 8's closing the gap down to him a little bit, so he is the lighter yellow car up ahead. I thought he was the other one.
Board ahead is now 2.2.
That gap's closed down just slightly. It's pretty consistent though, somewhere between 2.1 and 2.3. We've got about the same gap out back to the 16, so no pressure at all behind for 4th place. I get a little loose there off of turn 4, able to save it. 4 looks like he had an issue as well out back.
Time was 22.47.
I think the more that happens, the tougher it's going to be for everybody behind to get through, so should help me try to contend with, or be able to keep a gap up behind and not have pressure that way, which will allow me to be more patient and get by the lap traffic. Going to be halfway done next time by, so laps are definitely clicking off. I have to start thinking about trying to push a little bit harder, see if I can start making up time to the 8 and the 19 if I want to shot it. Picking up any spots before the end. Got side by side between the 22 and the 11. 11 shoots way up the track going through 1 and 2. 22 gets loose on the apron. 11 comes flying off the wall. I don't know how I'm going to get around these two. These two are just all over the place. Stick to the bottom for right now, see if the 22 happens to move out of the way. Give him a chance to go high into 1.
Right side.
Seems like he kind of went high, so thank you to him.
He's still there. Outside line's clear.
Gonna clear him, probably pushed him up the track a little bit. Back to the 11. Certainly going to try to find my way around him as easily as possible. I pick up the throttle a little too early. 11 loses it off of turn 4 down the front stretch, so able to clear him as we cross the start-finish line. Made that job easier than I was thinking it would be. At the 8 in sights, he's running side-by-side with the 20 into turn 3. Clears him. It's going to be all about who gets through traffic better, quite honestly. Looks like the 8 might have just tagged the wall going into turn 1. We got really close.
The gap to board ahead is now 1.36.
Be starting lap 30 next time by, so entering the closing stages, we're going to have 21 to go. Again, now's the time where if I was able to tire save and have it be an advantage, I got to try to use it. 20 gets loose gets loose off of turn 4, chases it down the track, washes up the track, try to cut underneath him. Brake bias back a little bit.
He's still there, keep digging.
Try to clear him. Most of the lap traffic's been pretty respectful. We got a couple of them that have been a bit rougher to get by, but I think that's also, they're just not quite as skilled of drivers, so they're trying to do what they can, but obviously having issues. Leader's got clear track up ahead, so expect him to pull away. 8's got one more lap car to deal with. I'm going to try to take advantage of that as much as I can and close the gap down. And now's the time to start making the moves. 2.7 to the 19, 1.5 to the 8. Even if the 19 falls back and we can get second, I'll be happy with that.
The gap to board ahead is now
Entered probably a bit too shallow there. Probably pinched the momentum in the center of the corner a little bit. Hurt me. Picking up a little bit of time, but got to do a little bit more than a tenth a lap or so to get there. Overdrive 1 and 2 a little bit. Biggest thing for me is to make sure that I don't try to pick the throttle up too early off the corner when I make a mistake going into the corner. It's just going to get me loose off the corner and kill the momentum even more, along with making it tougher to drive consecutive laps after that.
Lap was at
this rate, it's just going to be tough enough to get to the 8 and make a pass for second, let alone get to the 19 for the lead. Just doing what I can though, working my way through. Got to make sure I don't get on the apron. That's certainly going to upset the car more than anything. Slowly closing down the 19. Just, I don't know if there's going to be enough laps left. 23 moves high. Thank you to him. To clear him there off of turn 2. He does a great job letting us by. Traffic ahead, just going to set the sights on the 8, try to do what I can. Move the brake bias back a little bit more, 15 laps to go. 2.4 to the 19, 1.3 to the 8. Certainly going to be a tough battle to try to get there, but gonna give it my all, see what I can dig out of 8. Seems like he's got some problems. He tags the wall going into turn 3.
The gap is 1.19.
I think if I can try to minimize the mistakes and he can keep having those, it's possible we could reel in the 8 for second. I think the 19 is just too far ahead.
22.
I overdrive 1 and 2 there. I'll pick up the throttle a little too early, get a little loose off. That's going to allow the 8 to pull away a little bit. Whoa, 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 overheated the tires, going to slide through 3 or 4, able to save it, but that's going to kill everything. Going to have to be really careful now. Did not realize I had overheated the tires that bad. So it's looking like a third place finish because I'm going to have to back off and just let the tires cool. Reset. I have 12 to go next time by. Very fortunate to not have anybody around me. That could have been a big wreck. Thankfully, it gave me most of the track to be able to save it. And I get the wall, no incident point, but just got too close to the wall in the front stretch there. Just got to settle down. Third place is obviously where I'm supposed to finish, so it's not a bad day. Just felt like I had the pace to do better. And of course, you know, I make a mistake and cost myself the chance for that. Obviously, a better qualifying effort would have made things a little bit different as well, but you know, just trying to make the most of what I can. Move the brake bias all the way back. Make sure I don't overdrive the corners. Let it roll through the center as best as I can. Light throttle. Just try to get on. Looks like both the 19 and the 8 are pulling away, so I probably just overheated the tires a little too much and have no shot at them now. But absolutely no pressure from behind at all for third place. At a minimum, we're at least a third of a lap up on fourth. It could be more than that. I'm not going to scroll through the relative and see where we are, but gives me a chance to just kind of breathe and finish out these last 9 laps as clean as possible and just see if by some chance something stupid happens to either the 19 or the 8 up ahead. Would assume both of them are just going to be driving it as easy as possible since we're all pretty far gap. You can see the 16 pops up on the relative. He's over 9 seconds back, so almost half a lap back. At least we're running where we're supposed to run. Again, not my best race, but far better than what I ran in the first one. A little loose there off of turn 2, just had a bit too much throttle with the wheel. It's going to be a little more careful. Right front's starting to show some wear. Car slides around a little bit there into turn 3. I think that's product of me heating up the rears off of turn 2 the last time. To take it easy. 7 to go, excuse me. Just limping the thing around. Over 10 seconds now to the 16, so literally no pressure from behind at all. And the closest lap car is the 23, and he's 3.5 seconds back, so I've got no pressure at all from anybody. Keeping consistent with the 19. 8's pulling away a little bit from us, but my guess is the 19 is also just trying to protect his lead and not trying to do too much with the lap traffic. If I was him, that's what I'd be doing until the 8 got too close to me. Track's definitely hot and slick this week, so it'd be very easy if you overdrive the car to lose it and cost yourself way more positions. Not that I'm saying you should just slow down enough to let the 8 by, but certainly if you can protect it by running at 80% or 90%, continue to keep your lead, then I would certainly be doing that, which honestly I should probably be doing the same thing since I've got such a big lead back to fourth and really no shot at getting to third.
Lap time was 23.
Just kind of trying to keep it easy, take my own advice. No real shot at second place unless there's issues up ahead, so it's worth more to keep myself from having any of those issues and at least being in the position to try to take advantage of an issue. Overdrove 3 there a little bit. Just doing what I can. The 19 looks like he's trying to get by the 13 now. Keeps working to his inside as they go through 3. Have 2 to go next time by. At least got a decent shot too for the 0x, so I will gladly take that out of how this race went the last time. 20 had an issue, but he kept it on the inside wall down the front stretch, so allowed us to get by without any problems. Thank you to him for that. Wasn't back up slightly to the 8, but again, with 1 to go, it's not going to matter. Had a bit of an issue there going into turn 3, but able to correct it. I don't know, I just probably had the pace and then just made a mistake and had to back off there at the end and was not able to take advantage anymore. Would have been an outside chance to have any shot at the 19, and honestly even the 8 would have been tough, but I'll gladly take being able to navigate the field, work my way up to third, feel like I did it without making any bad moves or being too aggressive or anything. Nice to at least finish where we were supposed to. Again, not a strong field at all, but for me, to get a good race in, I will gladly take that. Works for me overall. Probably be my last one. I'm sure if you can keep it clean and you can drive quick, this is a great way to farm iRating this week. But I got some other things I'm going to do and some other stuff I want to focus on. So take a look at tires. 87.92, not as bad as I thought. I don't know. Again, I don't think tires are going to be as big a deal as, say, Charlotte was last week, but certainly if you can try to keep Big thing is to avoid heating up the rears. That's going to kill the drive off. That's going to make it really tough. But if you can keep from wearing out that right front too much as well, it'll certainly allow you to be able to roll the center of the corner a lot better as the run goes on, and you can have a chance to try to pick up spots and pace on everybody. So not too bad overall. Take a look at the results, see how those went. Well, actually, you know what? Let's take a look at the start and see what happened with the. Let's take a look at the 12, I believe it was first. See what happened with him. I thought he just overdrove it, is what it honestly looked like. And then we can see what happened. I believe it was the 23 behind. So 12 started on the outside. Oh yeah, he just drove it in way, way too fast. Way, way, way too fast. And then smacks the outside wall. Damage model keeps him glued up there, but he also did the right thing staying up there to avoid everybody. So, so let's see what's going to happen. So he's got a messed up right front, so that's going to send him up. I think he's going to tow, or no, he's waiting for the field to get by to get to the inside to pit road. So let's also take a look and see what's going to happen from behind. So I think from behind is where we're going to see the next issue. 11 lost it from behind, 8 lost it from behind. Maybe that was the wreck that I saw. Yeah, it looks like. Let's see what happens here. Let's focus on the 11. Because that looked like that created another issue. So 11's running to the outside of the 6. 6 just drives it in too hard. 11 tries to cut it, then he slams on the brake, overcorrects it, takes it to the inside wall. He's going to clear himself. And the 6 was the other one around. So it looks like it was just 2 there. 15 gets himself around. Let's see what happened with the 15 as well. This will be the last one. For some reason, I thought somebody else wrecked behind. I don't know. I could have easily missed stuff. So when the 6 had the issue, the 13 locks it up trying to get around. 15 tries to go to the inside of the 4. He makes contact with the 4. That sends him into the 13 and the 4. And then he trying to correct it and gets loose off of 2 and slams again and spins himself out. So yeah, he somehow got out of that without very, very, very minimal contact at all. So I would say good to him for being able to do that. I thought for some reason something happened to the 23. Let's see. He was to the inside on the start. He got a bad start. Okay, that's exactly what I saw. So the 14 is kind of what created some of that mess off the start. So I'm going to say he probably slowed down in the 14, just didn't expect it, and that's why I was saying I was going to be checking up more than I would normally be running because I didn't want to do that. So the 14 just drove in and tagged the right rear of the 23 and just sent the 23 around. That clogs up the 6 behind. You got the 20, the 23 slams the 20, and then I think you're going to see that's where the 11 and the 6, I believe, had the issue. So that was all in turn 2. So that was everything off that start. Allowed us to pick up quite a few spots and get away. So take a look at the results. Again, both should be fairly positive, although I had quite a few incident points in the last one, so there was quite a few to clear off of the record, so safety rating won't go up quite as much. Second spot out of 8, pretty weak, 2091 overall. Just, I'm not quite there to being fast enough to get, iRating wise to get to that top split consistently. And honestly, even if I was, I'd be running in the back because I wouldn't have the pace. So in a way, it's, kind of a good idea, or it's good for me to be able to run this and be able to run towards the front, collect that, and then hopefully use this as a time to really learn and try to perfect skills so that when I get to that top split, hopefully I can try to take advantage of it and get some decent results out of it and make it stick that I can keep the iRating going up and staying there. So about half a tenth off of the 8 who had the fastest lap. Again, I wasn't worried about setting the absolute fastest lap up the front. I was more about worried trying to keep the tires safe. Unfortunately, I just made some mistakes there in that last 20 laps to couldn't quite close the gap down, so at least able to get away with 0 incidents. So 64 iRating gains, almost back to everything I lost from that. I think I lost like 72 or 73, something like that. So just under that, just over 2550. Just taking it one race at a time. I mean, I have goals, but I'm not really thinking about those. Just trying to keep myself as clean as I possibly can, and the iRating will take care of itself that way. Able to gain 0.16, so just back under the 3.3. I don't know, by the end of this week, maybe if I can keep it clean from the oval side, I should be able to get myself over that 4.0, get to the A license. But, again, big thing is just to keep it clean, try to run everybody as respectful as I can, start to build that better image, try to, move past all the bad races I've had, all the stuff I've done before, and try to make it a little bit cleaner. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you can get something out of that in terms of driving. Big thing is just overdrive it on the entry and through the center. Really slow down the car beforehand, let it roll through the center, easy on the throttle out so that you don't light up the rear tires, and just avoid the wrecks. Do the best you can to keep your heads up. Try to look as far up the track as you can, see where everybody's going. Avoid that. You can see only 10 cars out of the 23 finished on the lead lap. So if you can avoid incidents, keep it clean, and keep the tires underneath you, you got a pretty good shot at a decent finish this week. So certainly, I would say that's the keys for me. And then, if you can find a way to get around the track quicker, congratulations, go for it. That should set you up for a pretty good finish. So, with that, feel free to leave any feedback you had of those incidents, anything you've done differently. If you run races here, always love to hear driving feedback from you guys or anything you're doing differently. Always try to take as much of that in, incorporate as much as I can, and grow and improve overall and then share the results with you guys. So feel free to leave any comments. Love to hear from you guys. And until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.